Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Mirjam Madhuri Paninsksi, EFT master and trainer and the founder of the Open Consciousness Institute. Here we blend evidence-based transformational practices such as EFT, cutting-edge research, and the wisdom of your intuition and your higher guidance to support you on your deep, lasting healing journey and your awakening journey. EFT or tapping isn't just a technique for stress relief, though it's beautifully effective for that too. Clinical EFT is or can become a sacred tool for releasing your deep emotional imprints, for clearing old conditionings and opening the gateway to your most authentic, spiritually aligned and happy self. And in today's video, I'll explore the basics of tapping with you and how to very quickly use them on yourself. So first of all, why? Or how does tapping even work? Why is it so effective? Why has it become a gold standard in psychotherapy in countries like Australia? Why is it off the charts when it comes to the research? So basically, EFT builds, first of all, EFT builds on the concept that when we experience any kind of stress to the extent of trauma or even the trigger of an old traumatic pattern, our amygdala, that's a very small almond-shaped matter in our cerebral hemisphere, gets activated. It's basically like the fire detector, the smoke detector of your system, of your brain. It's part of your limbic system, which detects threat, and it's responsible for your survival. So really, really important. And I'll say more about that in a moment. So basically, EFT has proven to be this incredible tool to effectively and quickly reduce the stress, change your brain pattern, and open our neural pathways that were created by trauma and reinforced by the repeated stress response to triggers because they were not interrupted. So what I want to say here is in EFT, we do not shy away from your pain. We don't shy away from our shadows. We do not bypass. And this is also a really relevant addition to your spiritual journey. And please know that our subconscious mind will do anything to prevent us out of protection from feeling our deeper stored pain. It will create all kinds of other patterns and mechanisms and symptoms so we don't have to feel them. Addictions, emotional addictions, physical addictions, chemical addictions, worry, anxiety, procrastination, and physical symptoms. And I know, love, I know you will say, but I don't want any of that. I've worked so hard to not have them. What do you mean there's a part of me that wants to have those symptoms? Yes, I hear you. And I hear that your conscious mind doesn't want them. But as long as our subconscious mind is running the show, these patterns will keep showing up, and from a good intention, so to say. And also what I want to say is it is not a question of willpower. When you have a fear response because your brain has detected a threat, even if small, even if subtle, the part of our brain responsible for solution-based creative thinking, which is our prefrontal cortex, is completely shut down. Your sympathetic nervous system gets activated again by that little amygdala. Your internal smoke detector, which detected a threat, activating the survival response in your body, and cortisol, the major stress hormone, along with adrenaline, etc., they get pumped through your body. And your body's energy gets drained and focused towards fighting the threat. And all systems in your body get affected, including your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your endocrine system, your gastrointestinal system, your nervous and muscular system, and also your reproductive system. It's the response in your body to protect you from becoming a victim of that deeper threat you once knew to be true again, while you actually relive that original situation in your body. So when you have a stress response, you are no longer present. You are at the age at which you experienced that original stress, even if it was repeatedly. Now, EFT is an incredible technique that does not just interrupt the stress response, but allows you to address the deeper pain and release those patterns that no longer serve you. And how does it do that? So, as I said, in EFT, we don't shy away from the shadow. We don't shy away from the pain. We lean into it. We focus on it. We bring up a stressor of our life, and that can be anything you like. When you actually work with a trained clinical practitioner, they ideally excavate a specific memory, even better, a root event. Usually that's a childhood event, often ages 6 or younger. But you can bring up anything: physical pain, minor stressors, like the tone of your colleague in an email, what you were feeling writing a paper, your neighbor putting their trash bag in front of the trash can, or whatever it is. So, and what you do, you consciously expose yourself to those feelings while, and that's the gist, while you tap on these chosen points on your body that I will show you today. What I will show you are the 9 basic points, the 9 basic points of the basic recipe EFT. Those are, and they do come from Chinese traditional medicine. They are acupoints. And of course, there's much to be said about each of those points, but we don't need that information today. I may share that in another video. But what is good to know is that these points activate meridians in our body, either directly or indirectly. And while we may not need proof, even modern medicine at this point has acknowledged that meridians actually exist and that they are a huge benefit if what we in modern medicine call primovascular system gets stimulated through these access points, these acupoints. So what happens is that through this pretty simple mechanical technique, we recondition our body, our brain, our nervous system, because while we expose ourselves to what our body has learned to be a threat, we actively and mechanically soothe our nervous system by tapping these points. And by doing it repeatedly, repetition is key. We teach our body, our brain, that what it has perceived as a threat is no longer a threat. And that's how your brain can rewire. That's how your brain can make new connections. That's how your neural pathways that got really narrow now open up again, right? It allows our brain to integrate our experiences, past and present, into the context they belong in. So there are 2 important pieces when it comes to EFT: exposure and tapping. To take this a bit further and to actually involve mindfulness, we want to acknowledge our feelings in our body, because actually what emotions are, or what we call emotions, those are labels for sensations that we actually experience over and over again in our body. So today we'll practice becoming aware of these feelings in our body and tapping on them and seeing what happens. And with your permission, I'd like to guide us through a little tapping experience. And again, I want to say that in a one-on-one session, the practitioner would usually pick up your specific words, the specific words of the client, and those and use them in what we call a setup statement and reminder phrases. So I would encourage you, and I will check in with you, I would encourage you to use your words. Change my words. What we want to do is we actually want to use the words that feel most charged for us, because that's how we can counter condition the response in our system. So if you tap on yourself, I would just encourage you to keep it simple. Just use the words that bring you into the feeling. So let's begin now. a little bit of tapping here. So I would encourage you to all take a deep breath with me. And I'd like you to now tune in and feel into any current stressor in your life, anything that's currently maybe bothering you, stressing you, something that where you feel a little bit of a charge. And for many of us, I will just name it, for many of us, we just experience a lot of fear. We experience fear. Again, worry, anxiety, procrastination are actually just masking what is underneath, and the deeper feeling is fear. So just assuming that many of us are experiencing fear, I would check in. I would like you to check in. And if you'd like, you can even do a short body scan, a quick body scan, and tune in and feel into where you feel that feeling in your body. If that's something that's difficult for you to do, tune in and feel into where that emotion would live in your body. If that emotion had a place in my body, where would that be? And check the intensity of it, of that sensation, that emotion. Sometimes the physical sensation, the body sensation has a different intensity than the emotion, but they can be the same. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intense does it feel right now? And you can write that number down if it helps you to keep track of that. And I would encourage you to do that as you tap with yourself. Just write that number down. And whatever it is, we practice radical acceptance here. And what we actually do, especially in Open Consciousness Institute, is we believe in the power of radical self-compassion, radical self-acceptance. We believe in that to be the number one tool for healing. So let's acknowledge that. And what we'll do, we'll start tapping now. We can use 2 or 3 fingers, and we'll gently tap and start tapping on the side of our hands. And we'll say a statement now 3 times that includes the sensation or the emotion that just came up for you. And you're going to repeat after me. And if you're not in a spot where you can speak out loud right now, you can just listen to those words. That's completely fine. Even though I feel, and name that feeling. I'm feeling it. Where? Where do you feel it in your body? And can you, with that body sensation, be maybe a little bit more specific? Does that sensation have a color? Does it have a texture? I choose to accept myself and how I feel. Even though I feel. And it's really uncomfortable. I really don't like it. I would rather not feel it. And I'm feeling it in where are you feeling it again? Even though I'm feeling it, I deeply and completely accept myself. See if that statement resonates, or I'm open to accepting myself. I choose to accept myself. And we'll do that once again, even though I feel this fear, this anxiety, this anger, this rage, this sadness. And I'm feeling it where? Name the body part. And it feels like it's orange. It feels like it's red. It feels like it's soft, hard, prickly, oozing. It feels like this bubble in my belly. I accept myself anyway. And now we tap through the points, and we start at the very tippy top of your head. in a lot of videos, you'll see a lot of people tapping around the head, and that's completely fine. There's no adverse consequence to that. But there is a lot of meridians that actually meet at that very top point at your head. And you can also reach that point by putting your thumbs on your ears and having your middle fingers meet at the very top. That's also what was called the fontanella, the soft spot when you were a baby. And just name that feeling again and breathe into that feeling with me. This feeling and what is it for you? What brings you into the feeling? This sensation. And we now move to the eyebrow points, which is right where the eyebrows meet the bridge of your nose. You can tap with 2 hands or with just one. This feeling, this sensation. And again, breathe into it. Be brave, be courageous, and lean into that feeling. I know it's uncomfortable, but just for a moment, let those emotions surge, and we are counter conditioning them as they surge, and we can release them. We can hold space for them in a really powerful way. Inside of your eyes, which is pretty close to your pupils, right on your orbital bone, on that horizontal axis of your pupil. This feeling, this sensation, name it out loud, breathe into it. And we're moving under the eyes, which is still on your orbital bone, now on that vertical axis of your pupil. This feeling, this sensation. And under your nose, this feeling. Name it out loud, breathe into it, feel it, allow yourself to feel it. And you're holding a sacred space for yourself as you're doing it. Allow whatever is coming up to come up. Breathe into it. Under your mouth now. I also want to say that we're not tapping any sensations that aren't there into your body or into your system. If something is coming up, it's merely coming up because you're ready for it, because your nervous system is ready for it. And if it feels like too much, that's okay too. You can just say, that's too much for me now. If it feels okay for you to feel those feelings, it's okay for me to feel those feelings. This feeling, this sensation. And now collarbone points, which is not right on your collarbone, but basically about half an inch under your collarbone in the middle and then out. There's like a little dent here it's about an inch and a half away from your sternum. This sensation. This sensation. This is one of my favorite points. It's one of the points that if you watch my other videos and if you do some of my tapping meditations, that I may stay on that point for a little longer, just also because it's a comfortable point to stay on when you really do go into some deeper reflection, some deeper processing. And in the other videos, we will go into some deeper inner child work, some deeper processing. And it's a convenient spot to stay in and a really powerful one, especially for anxiety, for fear, this sensation. And we're now moving to under the arms, which is about a hand width under your armpit. You can tap like this with both hands, hugging yourself. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can go in and do a little butterfly here. This sensation. It's a tapping point that sometimes is left out in some of the videos because it's a little bit inconvenient, but it's actually a really wonderful one for fight, flight, freeze response. I'm not gonna leave it out here. This sensation, going back to the side of your hand, And we're just stating this again, even though I'm still feeling this sensation, I accept myself anyway, even though I may still be feeling, and tune into it again. I deeply and completely accept myself, even though I feel. I deeply and completely accept myself. And let's stop right there and take a deep breath. And I'd like you now to tune into that feeling, tune into that sensation, and see where you're at with that. Did your number change? Did it drop? Did it stay the same? I also will say that it is not unusual if your number should have risen. That is not unusual. That just means that you opened yourself up for deeper processing, that your nervous system feels safe enough for more information to come up. We just tapped for a couple of minutes. You can stop right here and go back to the beginning of the tapping and just do this again. Again, there's no adverse consequence to tapping. You can do this everywhere. You can also just tap on one point when you're in a meeting. There's also some hand points, some finger points that I may demonstrate in another video that are really convenient when you're in the video and you just want to tap under the table. There's just these wrist points that you can put together like this, that you can just put together, tap together when you're in a meeting under the table, and no one will notice it. You can just tap on one point, you can tap on multiple points. The important thing is that you just allow yourself to breathe into that emotion, feel into that emotion while you tap. It's a beautiful way to just hold space for whatever is coming up. Allow those emotional surges to come up. We are so scared of feeling that deeper pain, but the alternative that we've chosen is actually much harder. We just don't know. Our subconscious just don't know it. So what we're basically doing, we're telling our subconscious over and over again, it's safe to feel those feelings, and they're actually becoming less and less scary because our nervous system, again, gets these stimuli, gets stimulated in a way that informs it to say, wow, what I have thought to be a threat, what I have thought to be so scary is all of a sudden okay. It's deactivated. You may still have a memory, you may still have a conscious memory of things, but they may no longer be emotionally charged. They may no longer trigger your fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. So this is the basic of tapping, which you can use again on anything. Tap on whatever is coming up for you. Use whatever words you might like. Again, in this channel, we'll have much more. We'll have videos to all kinds of transformational tappings and tapping sequences, tapping meditations. These tapping meditations have been very carefully put together and are led in a very both intentional way, in an intuitive way, but also in a way that was backed up by a lot of research and a lot of research foundation to be done in this way. So I hope to see you back here, and I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope to see you very soon. Much love. Namaste.